from the truth. When you're making plans, you're dealing with lives of men. And so there is a lot of consultation that goes on. When we were planning the surgical strike, I was sitting in the room, and there were officers who were 35 years junior to me who were sitting. And those officers were the ones who actually had to go across the line of control. And there was a lot of debate back and forth. There were times when I had to accept because the young officer said, look, I have to go. I know the ground better than you do. And therefore, you have to listen to what I'm saying. And there were times when I had to tell them, look, I know the big picture. So I think this is how it should be done. So there was a lot of discussion, debate on, before the final plan was sort of crafted out. But once the plan was made, then it was everybody's plan. Then nobody turned around and said, look, I had disagreed with this aspect of the plan, and therefore I will not execute it to the best of my ability. You can have your debates, you can have your discussions, you can say whatever you want to say. Once the plan is made and prepared, then everybody needs to own it. Then it isn't, oh, I'm reluctant to execute it because I had disagreed with this and I had made my views known. And if everybody sort of owns that plan and works to make it a success, there is no way I think that really that the plan can fail. So it's important for all team members that once a decision has been taken, once a plan is made, then it's everybody's plan. Let me now come to building organizational resilience. Why is this important? I've talked about individual resilience, I've talked about resilience in team and how to build teams. The fact is, people are going to change. People are going to rotate in and out of your organizations. They're not going to remain the same. Every year, the Army retires 60,000 people. 60,000 new people come into the organization. It's important that the culture of the organization, the values in the organization are such that people who are coming imbibe those organizational values. Why is the Army called it's called a strong organization? It's actually not called an organization, it's called an institution. What's the difference between an institution and an organization? So the Supreme Court is an institution, the military is an institution. Why are these called institutions? Because members of institution are value-driven. There's a lot of reliance on values, there's a lot of reliance on ethos, there's a lot of reliance on culture of the organization. And I think that's what you need to set out, that my organizational culture is such that it promotes resilience. How can we do that? And I think the first thing is, what importance do you give to your organizational ethos and values? So I know every organization has its own set of values. I'm sure your organizations also have the values. What is important is what emphasis and what importance is given to those values. And let me quote here, John Hackett wrote an outstanding book called The Profession of Arms. And he writes in that book, the whole pattern of life of the professional man at arms is designed in a deliberate effort to foster values like courage, fortitude, and loyalty, not because they are morally desirable, but because they are functionally indispensable. And I think you need to understand this distinction here. So these values that we have are not the nice to have values. Loyalty, courage, honor, comradeship. Wow, great values. Nice. They have to become functionally indispensable. If we don't have these values in the army will collapse. The army cannot function if there is no loyalty, if there is no instant obedience, if there is no honor, if there is no courage, if there is no comradeship. So these values are fostered not because they're good, nice to have, but without these values, the military will cease to function. And you have to ask yourself, what importance are you giving to the values within your own organization? Is it something that's there on your website? Is it something that's printed on your calendars? Is there on your desk? Or are they an essential and integral part of your organizational functioning? And if they are an integral part of your organizational functioning, let me tell you, in times of crisis, people will actually fall back on those values to behave in a specific manner. Which is why there is, in an organization, you have to see what kind of ethos is there, what kind of culture have you built up, what kind of values that the organization has. There is also this balance of faith between the individual and the organization. In the army, we tell the soldiers, look, you will go to any extent in the performance of your duty, including the laying down of your lives. But we also tell them that, look, have faith in the organization. If anything happens to you, we are there to support you. We are there to look after you. We will make sure in case something happens to you that your family is looked after, your children are looked after. And this promise that is there between the individual and the organization, we call it the military covenant, which is this mutual obligation, which has actually sustained the army to a very large extent. And therefore, if you want a strong organization, you have to also, as an organization, give that confidence to members of the organization that in case something happens to them, in case they are in trouble, yes, the organization is there to support you. We can't say, look, you guys work morning, evening, do everything that we're telling you, but if anything happens to you, it's not our responsibility. If there is this faith between the organization and the individual, that by itself is a very sort of strengthening factor of the organization. As an organization, you have to set the bar high. You have to take some risks. When we were planning the surgical strike, it happened 10 days after the Uri garrison got attacked. We lost 20 soldiers. Huge loss in one day. And then when we were planning it, and we planned a very extensive operation going across the border into Pakistan, multiple targets to be hit on one night. And somebody did question that, look, you just lost 20 soldiers, now you want to do this, and you're taking too much risk. But what was the purpose of our going across? The purpose was that we needed to send a strong message to Pakistan. And by doing something small, that message could not get sent. And therefore, setting the bar high in the organization does two things. It sets standards for the organization. Look, this is what we've been able to achieve. And so that becomes a benchmark for you now going forward. If you set modest goals for yourself and achieve them, people will get very comfortable and say, this is easy, we are doing it. And that becomes your benchmark. So one is it sets a high benchmark. And the second thing it does is gives tremendous confidence in the ability of the organization and the individuals to pull off something, which is a high bar. So one advantage of the surgical strike also was when the soldiers came back, they said, this is what we've been able to achieve. We can successfully carry out a major complex operation, and gives them tremendous amount of confidence. And that in itself, as I said, is going to build in a lot of strength in your organization. Battles could be lost, yet the war won. So, and I said this earlier, you could have setbacks, you could have failures. But I think don't lose that long-term focus. the war is a long game. And you might lose battles initially, but if you keep your focus correct, you could still win the war. Look at Kargil. Everyone talks about, Kargil, wow, successful operation that the Indian Army did. The first detection of the intrusion of Pakistanis in the Kargil sector came on 3rd May. 3rd May 1999 was when we got to know that some people have come across in the Kargil sector. Attacks started to try and drive out these infiltrators. One failure after another. Air Force came in, 2 aircraft got shot down, 1 helicopter got shot down. Our first success at Tololing came 40 days later, on the 13th of June. But it isn't as if you didn't persevere and you said, oh, for 1 month we have been failing and therefore now we just have to give up. So remember that setbacks could happen, but have a long-term perspective on where you wish to go and persevere and reach there. And finally, in an organization, it's important to encourage initiative. Some people call it distributed leadership, where everybody sort of takes ownership and responsibility for what is happening. It's important that everybody, every time, is not looking over his shoulder and asking for, waiting for orders. Mujhe hukum aayega, then only I will do something. That's when opportunities will get lost if people are looking over your shoulder. In September 2014, at a place called Chumar in eastern Ladakh, the Chinese suddenly decided to intrude across the line of actual control, across the border in eastern Ladakh. They came with about 1,000 soldiers and a lot of earth-moving equipment, dozers, JCBs, to try and construct a road across the border into our area. Opposite them we had a small post, one young officer, captain with about 30 men. He was there opposing them. He saw these people and fearlessly, without asking anybody, without waiting for orders, without getting on the phone and saying, sir, please tell me what to do. He rushed, got on top of the leading JCB and just pulled out the driver. So that's the Chinese JCB there. And our soldiers are all sort of around it. He stopped the Chinese from coming in. Once the crisis was over, everyone said, wow, what tough action we have taken against China, starting from senior military leaders to senior political leaders. Everyone was like, look, we took such great action, we stopped China. The fact is, it was this one young officer. If he was not there, if he had not done it, if he had waited, if he had not shown that initiative, another hour and a half, the Chinese road would have got constructed. And then it would have been very difficult to sort of push them back. And so give your objectives, give your aims, give your purpose to people in the organization, but let them then execute it to the best of their ability rather than trying to oversee everything. Right, and my last part of my talk today is on leadership in challenging circumstances. So how do we define military leadership? We define it as the capacity to frame plans which will succeed and the faculty of persuading others to carry them out in the face of death. Now, there are two key elements to this definition. And one is a good leader is one who can make successful plans. And that is the leader that people will follow. Not he's a nice guy, he's a decent human being. All that is fine. But at the end of it, you have to be successful. Nobody is going to constantly follow a failed leader. And the second element is, I am not even suggesting that you work your people to death or something. The point is, a good leader is a motivational leader. He can actually get people to perform beyond what you would normally accept. So these, I think, are two key elements to a good leader. Let me now talk about, as I said, leadership in challenging circumstances. And the first thing is, the need for leaders to prepare themselves. If we think that, some new challenge will come, but we are such great people that we'll be able to deal with it, it's going to be very difficult. As leaders, you need to start looking ahead, you need to start preparing, you need to look at what the environment is, what future challenges could come, study, read, practice. That's how you will actually prepare yourself to meet unexpected contingencies, unexpected circumstances. A lot of people think, Uri attack happened on 18th and 28th. The army went across and did everything. Great job. In 10 days, we had planned and executed everything. The fact is, we had been preparing almost a year for it, for cross-border operations. And if we had not been preparing, it would have been very, very difficult for us to execute it. And there is a very, very good quote by Winston Churchill, and I think it's good to read this. He says, to each there comes in their lifetime a special moment when they are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered a chance to do a very special thing, unique to them and fitted to their talents. What a tragedy if that moment finds them unprepared or unqualified for that which could have been their finest hour. So it's important. Challenges don't come every day. Unexpected situations don't arise every day. But if you are able to handle them successfully, if you are prepared for it, then that could well be what Churchill calls, the finest hour. Then there is this, dilemma of involvement versus detachment. And let me again try and sort of explain this to you. 8th October, 2005, and I was posted at Uri. I was the brigade commander, senior most officer there at that time. And we were hit by a massive earthquake. And these are pictures of what the garrison looked like. We had something like 160 buildings. Out of 160, 155 completely collapsed like this. Stores, sheds, food supplies. The Uri market was on fire. Roads were completely blocked. Bridges were damaged. And then, the injured started coming from the villages around Uri and saying, look, you are the army, you can help us out. And it is often said that in normal times, what is important is not urgent. And what is urgent is often not important. But what happens is, in times of crisis, you find that the important and the urgent sort of assault you together. What are your priorities? What is to be done? And then, as a leader, you want to get your hands dirty, as they say. Look, this is a crisis. I must be seen everywhere. I must be in the forefront of everything. I must do everything myself. Otherwise, I'll be seen as a poor leader. But I think you need to, at some stage, step back and see how much do you detach yourself and how much do you involve yourself. Now, I don't have a percentage answer for you. It's something for you to sort of consider. For two reasons. One is if you involve yourself too much into each and everything, you are going to burn yourself out. And I found that in 2 days, that you are just completely going to burn yourself out. And secondly, you lose long-term focus. You are involved so much in day-to-day things that you tend to ignore, your final long-term objectives. So these are some things that you need to be looking at. decisive decision making, you could say, look, decision making is the job of the leader, so what's new about this? Why I'm saying decisive, at times like this, people are looking for quick decisions. If you're not giving decisive, quick decisions, my own personal experience is that a sense of lethargy comes into the organization. Everybody is waiting, boss abhi batayega humko kya karna hai. And if the boss is not decisive and he says, oh, look, let me consult everybody, let me do this, let me do that, this lethargy that creeps into the organization is going to be very, very difficult to overcome. Now, all your decisions may not be 100% right. It's all right. In times of crisis, the decisions you take are going to hurt somebody or the other. I mean, that's the reality. When we needed to, when we had very few doses, when we were doing this, the earthquake relief, we had to obviously dig into the buildings, pull out people, see how many people are there. We also had to open the roads, because if we don't open the roads, then you are putting at risk larger population, because you can't get in any relief supply. So you have this dilemma. So if you take the dozers out from digging the buildings and put them on road construction, somebody will say, look, we still have likely to have a few people who are trapped. But decisions have to be taken. So I'm saying every decision may not be good for everybody, but the decision has to be taken. Defining success, and I think this is again a key element of a leader. He needs to tell the organization, what does success mean? We often ask ourselves in the army, what is success? Is it in winning the war, or is it in winning the peace? The pathways are different. When the Americans went into Afghanistan after 9/11, within 1 month they had completely captured Afghanistan, captured Kabul, installed their government. And then they said, look, we have succeeded in Afghanistan. They kept fighting for the next 20 years because they couldn't bring peace. So similarly, I think in your own organization, the leader has to say, to me, this defines success. Is it purely in terms of profits? Is it customer satisfaction? Is it how your employees feel and how they are being motivated? Is it in some social responsibility too that you have as part of large companies? Is it a good mix of all of this? What is a good mix? So these are important that leaders define what success means, so that everybody in the organization is sort of clear about it. And my final point is empathy and humility. A good leader must have humility. And the best example I can give you of this is, so this is the grave of the US President Eisenhower. Eisenhower was also a general in the Second World War, very famous general, and he led the Allied forces to victory over Germany in 1945. This is his grave, and there is something inscribed on those 3 walls. So let me just, the front wall, this is what is inscribed. Humility must always be the portion of any man who receives a claim earned in the blood of his followers and the sacrifices of his friends. You will get credit as a leader when something happens. There is no doubt about that. But remember that success and that credit has come about because also people have worked. People under you have worked. And so, which is why Eisenhower says, the sacrifices of your friends go into your own success. And that itself should make you a little humble. And let me end with almost 3,000 years ago, the Greek philosopher called Heraclitus. And he's said these words, and I think they're absolutely relevant even today, and I will finish with this. And he said, no man ever steps into the same river twice, for it is not the same river, and he is not the same man. Circumstances are going to change, times are going to change, and it's important that we as individuals, as leaders, also change with time. And this is more relevant today when technology, etc., is completely sort of transforming our lives. So I will end here. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, sir. May we have a huge round of applause for General Huda. Thank you so much, sir. It was a privilege to have you here, and your talk on resilience and leadership is fantastic. We would like to felicitate the General here. I will request Mr. Gaurav Sanghvi to please come up and felicitate General Huda. Thank you so much, sir. We are so proud to have you here. And I would request everybody to please come up on the stage to take a photograph with General Huda, the organizing committee, to kindly come up on the stage and take a photograph with General Huda. And may I also request the Secretariat team members to come up on the stage and take a picture because you are part of the organizing committee as well. We have also made arrangements for IT. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can, after the, you may go ahead and go to the area where the arrangement has been.